All right. We should be live. Yes, we are. We are live. And while I get things set up here on my end, I want to check my sound on Twitch. All right, let's go check the sound, see if I'm coming through fine. Testing, test. Yep, check. Good. All right, sounds great. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Mac Nonsense, welcome. People are slowly jumping in here. Welcome back. We had to take off a couple of weeks there for San Diego Comic-Con, and then the also the family reunion that I had in Vegas last week. So we're back again. We are back. Share with us where you're from. Share with us what the weather is like in your area. Yep, people are jumping in now. Welcome to the Blender 3D as well as LightrWave 3D discussions. Got some interesting stuff to share with you today. 4.51 is out. There's a new Blender just came out within the week. If you weren't aware of it, let's go to blender.org. There we go. So if you weren't aware of it, new Blender is out. If you go to the downloads page, it's 4.5.1. It was just released within the week. So, if you haven't upgraded yet, this is a good opportunity to do so. Let's go to the experimental section here and see if there were any new beta updates. All right, so 5.0 is still an alpha. And there's nothing new in terms of beta for leading up to 5.0. So, okay, nothing new there. But yep, 4.5.1 is up and ready for download. Hey, I can see my messy background here. I want to kind of cover that up. Let's go to my visual effects and bring in my effects for the background. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Everybody's jumping in here. The numbers are jumping up. Good to see everybody again. We had to take off a couple of weeks there for Comic-Con and then for my family get-together the week after. But we are back with more fun stuff to talk about in Blender. So I wanted to give you guys an update on what went on at the San Diego Comic-Con. I did a presentation on environments. I'll kind of share a little bit of that with you too. And then what I wanted to do is also to share some of the AI workflows that involve Blender as well. So AI is becoming huge. It's becoming a big part of the workflow in our industry now. Can't avoid it. Sorry, we can't avoid it. It's there, and it's actually kind of exciting. I'm going to go over to my Facebook page here, and let me kind of look for I'm going to scroll back to the Comic-Con photos I actually posted up here. on my page. It's a video. In fact, here I'll put the link to my Facebook page in the chat box. I'll put in Steve's Facebook. There you go. Steve's Facebook page there if you guys want to kind of go check it out on your own. And if I scroll down, the title of my presentation had to do with environments in Blender. And I'm kind of going to the section where I actually posted some of the photos of the attendance. There we go. I received a 300-seat room. Every seat was taken. So I was pretty proud of the response that we got. So there I am, Nikolai. Nikolai is the lead 3D engineer at Adobe. Yep, the Adobe company, a corporation that makes Photoshop and Creative Cloud and Adobe Express. So we're up there on stage, and it was a really good response. Literally, the only chairs that weren't taken were practically the red chairs with the handicapped chairs here. I was really happy with the response to the presentation. David, hello. So David, I'm going to give you. I'm copying the link to jump on board. I'm putting it into the chat box now. There you are. There's the link if anybody wants to share something in LightrWave or Photos or Blender. It's in there, so I will await your presence. Okay, so yeah, it was every seat was taken. I was overjoyed. I was more than overjoyed of the response to the presentation. Another view of the room. The room's starting to fill up here. And I did a video of all these too. I actually did a video of actually I'll pull that up in just a minute. But it was a great presentation. Basically, it was on creating environments for comics. I may have the title. Here's a little wider view of the room. Jam-packed, really great attendance. I can't say it enough. I was very appreciative of the attendance and also the interaction. I mean, the audience got very, very involved. A lot of great questions. We got to play around in Blender a little bit. Nikolai gave a presentation after my presentation. He gave a presentation on how to start, how to texture your environments for realism. David is here. Hello, David.
Hello.
Your camera's kind of weird looking. It's all white.
Yeah, it's not plugged in yet. I've been busy. I'm busy working on this printing project I'm working on.
So you should put an avatar in there, man. You're a professional. You are a professional.
I thought I had an avatar.
Yeah, it probably doesn't automatically bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
I know inside of StreamYard, you got to go over to the preferences, and you can bring in whatever background that you want.
Okay.
And that can be your avatar, like one of your characters that you make on a regular basis. Of course, David Glenn. Sorry I'm late, but I'm 3D printing stuff. Oh yeah, 3D printing is always fun. I'm 3D printing something right now for a client that actually just failed last night. I have to go and redo it again today. It was an orientation problem. Because these large 3D printers they're basically have a lot of suction force. And if you don't have the right supports or right orientation, the piece gets sucked right off the metal plate and it sticks on to the clear FEP. Ace Hoffman, hey, your Comic-Con video was eye-opening to the importance of environments and how subtle it can be. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I did send the video to everybody. If you are on the mailing list, you should have the video. If anybody here is not on the, I don't think anybody here is not on the mailing list. If anybody here is not on the mailing list, just throw it in the chat box, and I'll drop in the link to go register. Yeah, I mean, I figured well I can do a little bit. I can talk a little bit more about that today, and I figured I can do something in AI today as well. We got a brick wall for David there. I thought maybe
yeah, like some stuff.
Okay.
That's in which is in the program. So I'm trying to find something more suitable.
Right. So it was it was a great crowd, a lot of great questions. Let me see if I have here's the video. Yeah, there's the video. If I can maximize it.
Let's make it, let's just make it. So we'll create a main player.
Yeah, I'll turn off this. I'll turn off the sound on that so you kind of get to see the whole room. That was very fun. Some of my friends in the front there, even some of my students joined me from Studio Arts in Los Angeles, and yeah, they're all way back there. So yeah, so now I'm hoping to be a part of the Los Angeles Comic-Con. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I expect they normally have me back every year, so we'll see. Anything when I get approved or get an email saying, "Yep, we want these presentations," I'll get it out to everybody. All right, let's see. Let's go play here. I'll bring up one of the things that we were doing. Let's see if I can actually bring this up into probably. Now, if you guys are truncating your interface, see how large the text is to the side and some of the content on the bottom. And then at the top, some of my tabs aren't showing. For example, the shading tab or some of the geometry nodes aren't showing. And it's a result that when I go to your preferences, and I think it's under interface, yeah, right here, my resolution scale is 1.33. It's kind of large. And be aware that if you just bring your mouse right up here in this bar, and because basically it's truncated a lot of your extra options, your extra tabs. And I've got something extra here. It says ZBrush import export again that actually puts buttons here that further truncates all my little tabs to the left. So all you do is hold your middle mouse button down and drag your mouse over to the right or left, and there they all are. All right, just be aware that you can do that in Blender because I like the higher resolution. In other words, under my preferences, under the 1. I mean that by default it's like 1.0. 1.0 is like if I do 1, you can see things get smaller, but again, you get to see more of your tabs up here. But for teaching purposes, I like to have a little zoomed in. So I went to 1.33. So it's zoomed in. It's easier for students to see and easier for me to see too. Because I guess you get older, your eyes aren't all that great. I remember, reading old novels and the text is 5 point and I had no problems reading it, but I do now. So we can further enlarge or reduce these by using let's see, it should be able to zoom in here. Let me kind of pull this out. Yeah, see these little panels to the side. Hold your Control and Alt or Option, and left click and drag up and down. That allows you to also zoom in and out of your each little parts of your interface. So yeah, it's just kind of like little workflow things. It's kind of nice that a lot of people just don't know about. All right, so let me go over to the shading tab. Let me go over to here. Let me pull this on over. And I want to kind of show a little bit of what I showed in kind of the environment presentation that I did at Comic-Con. It's going to be a simple one, but quite effective. So there's a variety of ways to make environments. But you want to be as clean and simple as possible. Blender works so well with Unreal Engine, and the workflow is so very similar to Unreal Engine. Z key, go to material options. There we go. Okay, and you get to see what I have set up here. Now, let me come down here to the bottom, and let me instead set this up for the timeline, and then actually, let's see, I can bring that on over. Now I'll keep it there. I'll just cover it up, that the whole timeline right here in the bottom. All right, so there we go. Got some snow falling or particles falling. If I go over here to the camera view, there's my setup. Let me come over here to my options panel, go to my view options, take off the camera to view, N key on the keyboard makes that go, and I can zoom in so I can just focus here on the camera. So if I'm looking at the camera, several things are going on. I got the scarf moving around in the wind. I've got the atmospheric snowflakes, they're not really snowflakes because they illuminate, falling around my character. And I've got this parallax error thing going on. I got the background moving at a different speed from the foreground. And it's a very, very simple setup. And if I'm going to hit the 0 key on my numerics pad here, kind of go back out. And let me take a look at the setup. Let me stop letting it play to move this around. And it's just planes. That's all we're dealing with. They're just simple planes. The ground plane, which I have a PBR texture on top of. We've got the back plane, which you can see is curved. Actually, I want to pull this out. All right. And that panoramic image, I created that in AI and just mapped it onto the background. And it worked great. The little squares that you see around here, for example, the one that's currently highlighted, that's your atmosphere. That's your fog. In fact, let's turn that off. I'm gonna hit the H key. Okay, let's turn that off for now. This panel here, I think this was originally, and I'm going to find out if that's the case. If I want to know where this object is, if I select an object over here in the main area, and I want it to automatically jump to that object over here in my my 3D layers here, okay? Let your mouse hover over it, hit the period key on your numeric side of your keyboard, and it jumps to it. Snow plane. Now that plane is not this doesn't I don't think it is necessary. I'm gonna hit the delete key on the keyboard. Yeah. The reason it's not necessary is because I originally started to use particles, but then I decided to switch my approach and put in geometry nodes instead. So all the particles that you see floating around are geometry nodes, being animated. Okay, so it's not the result of that particle plane. So yeah, and then right around here, I see this one here. Let me see what that is. I forget what it is sometimes. That is the empty, right? Because we can bring in an empty as a shape as well, like a sphere or just arrows, which is what we often use. But the reason I have this here is because it's paired. The camera is parented to it. The camera is right there. Let me kind of click on the camera there and hit the period key to zoom into it. Camera's right there in front of us, but it's parented to the empty. And why is it parented to the empty? Because I'm animating the empty to move in a circular fashion. See? And you can see the camera is parented to it to create that parallax error movement that we're getting in the camera. It's just kind of fun. So just really, just a few little simple things is all you need to make this work. I brought in an environment. I think I lit the scene using the photograph that I have back here and my background, right? So all this is a simple plane that I curved with the background mapped to it. So I dragged the image into Blender as a images on planes, right? As an image plane. So in other words, Shift A, image, mesh plane. Then it's going to ask me where to go get the image, right? That's it. Comic-Con 2025. Let's see. Would that be under images? Yeah, I've got several. I'll pick a different image, right? I'll pick a different image. We'll pick this one, this abstract painting here. And there it is, right? That's all I did. Just brought the image into the scene and used that as a background. And this, in the case for the Comic-Con, it was a panoramic image. I had a small portion, and then I went into Photoshop and I used AI to stretch it out. In fact, if you want, I can show you. You guys might find it interesting. If you don't want me to show you, just tell me.
Well, you're doing fine.
What was that?
You're doing fine.
All right, cool. All right, I tell you what, I'll show you. So I wanted a long panoramic image, and I kind of guesstimated how long I wanted it to be. I wasn't trying to, and I wasn't setting up for a production studio environment. This was just for a presentation. And I've got some of them here, I think. Let's see if I've got some of them here. So I was playing around with AI. And matter of fact, I can probably use some of these. I'll use a different image. I've got some of these which I was playing around with. Here it is. There's the image there, as you can see. All right. Oops. So this was all generated with AI. Right, and I'll grab another image and show you how I did it. Let's get out of this one. Let's go grab it. I saw one in here. Let me kind of truncate that there. Maybe this one here. We'll use that one. Okay. So this too was created with AI. I'll show you. So I wanted to create a landscape, a mountainous landscape scene. I suppose I can kind of give you the whole process, couldn't I? Let's do this. Let's go to my AI program, and I'll kind of give you a whole workflow on what I did. And let's grab this, bring this over here. I'm going to make another tab here. I'm going to come over here, and I went over here to chat, AI chat. So this is free. This is very cool. And it's cool in that I can do regular chat like ChatGPT with the AI chat button right here. These are just little buttons up here at the top. I can go image generator. I can create a video. I can create music. I can create a voice chat. I can create a photo editor, AI photo editor, math AI, and it's all free. There's no monthly pay or any of that stuff. This is all free. It's not like ChatGPT, which was free at first, right? It was free at first, and then now you've got to kind of pay for it all. So I went to the AI chat and says, "Hey, give me a mountain range." I say produce a produce a prompt for a mountain range with edgy peaks, I guess instead of with edgy peaks on a white background. All right, so I'm going to tell it to produce a prompt. So go ahead, produce a prompt. There's my prompt. The prompt is, so we'll read it off. We create a detailed illustration of a mountain range featuring sharp, jagged peaks and edgy, dramatic formations. The mountains should be rendered in dark, bold lines and emphasize their ruggedness and angularity, set against a clean white background for striking contrast. Focus on emphasizing the sharp edges and dramatic silhouette and peaks of the. Okay, that's great. That's better than I would have just thought of, right? So I'm going to go ahead and what's going on over here? I'm getting this weird. There, we got it. Okay. So Command C, copy that. And then what I'm going to do is go back up to the top here and then go click on the AI image generator. And put the prompt in there. Okay, what just happened here? Okay, why did it not put my prompt in there? Go to AI chat. Mountain ragged peaks. Okay, what was that?
AI, it's going to it's argue with you when you're particularly when you're on stage.
Evidently. All right, so to go to copy.
Got attitude.
It's an attitude problem. I agree. And I'm going to go to my notepad, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to just shut up. Shut up. There we go. All right. And we're going to drop it in there just in case it gives me problems. So I'll put it over my other monitor here. All right, image generator. So we go back and paste it. There it is. Okay, submit. All right, so it's giving me something I'm not. I didn't tell it to be photorealistic. It's giving me what I want, but it's not photorealistic. All right, so let's do this. That's an illustration right there. Create a detailed illustration. Create a detailed photograph of a mountain range. Got it. So let's do generate now. I'm going to also copy this and hit submit. That's a little better, but not much better. All right, so my prompt is not what I want. This is not bad, but I guess I could use this. If I right click on this, save as, and let's go find a folder. I'm going to go back to my lessons folder and go to my presentations. And if I remember correctly, I think I called it environments. There it is, environments. Inside that folder, I'm going to just go ahead and drop the photo in there. In fact, if I go to the environments folder, let me just make a new folder. Images, AI choice. That way I can remember. So lessons, presentations, images, AI choice. I'll just leave it alone there. Let me do another, hit the button again for submit. That's not bad, not bad. That's not photographic either. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to just put in here mountain range on white backgrounds. I'm going to just change up, do something simpler. Let's see what I get. Yeah, the white background is the thing that's prompting it to go black and white. And I don't mind that one either, but I'll just take it and save it, hit submit again. In fact, if I do mountain range, on a sunny day, let's see what happens. Let's do that there. Submit. Oh, sign up to keep creating. Oh, I didn't sign up. Continue with Google. There I am. Continue with Google. And continue. Oh, they got a upgraded version. I don't want the upgraded version. All right. Well, anyways, here's something in Photoshop I've already done. We'll use this one. I'm going to crop it down, but that, in other words, that just gave an idea how I was using other. You can use any AI program of your choice. So I'm going to go take this one, crop it down, crop it to there, and I want a longer panoramic. So hitting the C key in the keyboard gives me the crop tool. And then if I want this longer crop, like I want it really long like this, I'm going to say commit those changes. Go to my, if you take a look at our layers here, it's all on one layer. That's fine. Get the selection tool, select quite a bit into the photograph, and then select the rest of the image. So you get this contextual taskbar. This is your window and communication device to the AI engine. So I don't want to put anything in here in terms of a narrative type of a prompt. I'm going to click on generate to fill. There's your narrative area where you can actually put in what you want to, what you want to see. I don't want to do that. I just want to just click generate and let AI figure it out for itself. So I'm going to click to generate. Sit back and relax and see what it does. Oh, really bizarre. It did not do a very good job at all. Let's try the next one and the next one. Wow. Okay. That was unexpected. No big deal. I don't like that layer. We'll do it again. I'll change up the strategy here. Getting rid of the layer. Let's change up the strategy and let's do smaller sections. Let's take the crop tool. All right, I'm going right up here. Hit the C key for the crop. See, I thought I could do it by just making one big long section here, but Photoshop is going to squawk about it. All right. C key. Let's make it smaller. We'll do it in chunks, smaller chunks. Command 0. Let's do it this way. It shouldn't have a problem. Let's click it and generate. Let's see what it does. And this is essentially what I did the first time. I actually let AI, there it is. Okay. So I let AI create in smaller chunks, but I figured, well, maybe I'll get lucky today or something, but nope, I didn't get lucky. There we go. And we've got options, right? Let's take a look at the second option here. Not liking it at all. Third option, not liking it at all. I like the first option the best. So that's what we'll keep. I'm going to go over to the layers. Okay, and I'm going to merge it all together. So Command or Control, Option and Alt, Shift, all three modifiers, and then E for Edward will merge everything into its own layer right at the top here. I can turn off the two bottom layers, leave the top one on, and I'm going to do it again. I want a longer piece, right? So C key for the crop tool, make it a little longer again. Okay, Enter. M for the rectangular marquee, and select the rest of it, and let's see what AI gives us. Let's click generate. See what it does. Don't like that tree there. That might work. That one does not work. Okay, so basically you see what I did. All right. I just used AI to start generating stuff in the background. You got to play with it a little bit. I can hit it again, click generate again and see what it does. All right, and I'm gonna look at the second one and the third one. Yeah, that one's better. This one's not that bad. So you kind of get an idea what I did. I'm using now I'm using Adobe's AI to help me create the background. So it's kind of a very fun process. Let me actually check. Oh, actually, Ace put a comment here. Let's see what it. Then go display that. All right, so is it coming up on? That's really interesting. There it is. It was taking a little while to come up on Twitch. Your Comic-Con video was okay. That was an old one. I already saw that one. Okay, that was an old one. I thought there was a new comment. All right, so there we go. So that's basically how you can do your backgrounds if you don't have imagery. I mean, you can even take imagery off of some of the free photo sites. and then bring it into Photoshop and have Photoshop produce your panoramics for you, just as from the base imagery that you get off of the internet. So anyway, so let me close out Photoshop. So I don't really want to have it take up extra memory. Bring that back up and close it out. Nope, don't save it. There we go. Cool. All right. So yeah. So now you have an idea how I produce that background. Okay. So I'm playing around with this foreground, middle ground, background concept. I'll delete this little plane here. I was just playing around with that there. Hit the delete key. And I'm working consistently. Now this, let's see, what is that there? Let's delete that. That's a little extra something in there that I didn't really need. All right. So I did put a displacement map on the ground. So I actually had some real geometry moving forward, as you can see, moving upward. You can see the mounds of dirt and grass moving upward. And then the rest had to do with the background. So I lit the scene. The lighting was lit with that photograph that's on this background. So whatever AI generated for me, I utilized that as the lighting source. And if I come down to the bottom, let me come down to the bottom here and actually go to the shader editor. And let's go to the world view right there. Okay. And there it is. There's my environment, right? Let's actually open up the image viewer to the right. So I'm going to open up another window, a little slice there, and then tell it to be my image editor there. Okay. Now I'm going to just come over to the nodes and click on this and see there. Click on the image. It shows the image right there. And it says long panoramic thing that I've been playing around with in AI and Photoshop. So yeah, it's brought in a character from Mixamo. It was faster than actually creating one of my own. And then pull it all together with the view of the camera. So if I now go to the camera view, there we go. Let me go over to the modeling view. I'm currently viewing through the camera. Let's go over to the view, camera to view, pull that out of there. And hit the N key to get that little menu out of the way. We can zoom in right about there. Now if we go over here to render mode, now we get to see what it looks like in the render view. I also added some glare so that the highlights kind of have a glow around them a little bit. And you got this glare controller, which, and I'm not sure if you guys were aware of this, is inside your preferences. And the problem was that back in the day, I'll come back to preferences in just a second. Back in the day, when you went to your render options, I'm right over here in render. Let me click here, click over the render mode, go to the top. And where is my, and you had, basically, you had, let's see where I am here. That's the top, go to red. Well, anyways, you had your EV, you go to EV, you had your little light glare options called, your bloom type of effect. We can now see them both EV as well as cycles right here, right? So I'm in cycles now. So we can do that by activating this glare controller. See, if I turn it on or off, I've got it on now. Right down here, I've given my options: bloom, ghost, streaks, fog glow, simple star. If I go to simple star, all right, and now you can kind of see. Let me get out of here and go to. There we go. I'm inside my. Let's go get my character here. Where are you? I lost my guy. All right, we'll do it this way. Let me go up here to the armature. All right, and just zoom in close to that. There we go. There he is. Turn off the armature. And click on him. So we can see the stars, the way they're acting with that glare controller. So and you have to activate, if I remember correctly, inside your add-ons. I remember seeing it here. Let me just go and type in glare. Yeah, glare node controller right there. Make sure that's turned on. And now you can turn on that effect in both EV or cycles. That's a nice little feature. So I don't want simple star. I want bloom. There, so I get the little subtle bloom effects. Hit the 0 key, go back to the camera view. So that's a nice little feature in Blenders. I think that's new in the 4.0 series. All right. And there's some nice little, let me set up a quick little scene in terms of creating that I like to call the glue for the environment, which is your atmospheric haze. Let's do something from scratch. And haze can be tricky, but I'm discovering if I follow a few little simple steps, I'm getting successful haze every time. Because there's a few different ways to actually do it. So I'm going to go, let me save this one. And let's go from scratch. I think you're going to find this interesting. Let's go to General. Let's bring in a plane. Okay. And let's bring in some objects. Let's bring in a cube, which is huge. In fact, if we go back to our plane, let's go ahead and just make it big like this. Let's set the cube up here. Let's get some objects in there that's going to give me some spatial. Let's go back to the plane. I'm going to make it larger. All right, Control A, that's rotation and scale, lock it in. Let's bring in another object. Let's, how about if we do like a cylinder? On over. We'll do something simple. Okay, S for scale, and then Z for the axis to scale it on. Right about there, that's what I want. Set it on down, and then Command A, rotation and scale, apply it. All right, well, we can use that. We'll just use these, and I'm going to just replicate it. Shift D, Y, bring it on back. Yeah, and then we'll do a one more. Shift D, Bring it on back. Let's bring in a mountainous landscape back there. How about we'll put the 3D cursor in the back, so shift right click. Put it back there somewhere. Oh, it didn't. No, hell, doesn't matter. I'll just put it right here. So shift S and shift A, mesh, landscape. Okay, let's see. What type of landscape do we want? That was a silly move on my part. It's going about landscape. Pull it on out. There's something back there. You always want these guys, you always want everything in proportion to humans. S key, I'm going to just make it really big. Way in the background. Yeah, that works. Let's go over here to control or command. Click on the landscape. Now, Blender's being a little picky today because if I click on something else that's large, it doesn't want to select it. I got to get close to its center point. The landscape is not selecting even when I get close to its center point. Well, there it is. It did a better job that time. So I find sometimes I have to come over here to the outliner, the 3D outliner, to actually select it. That's no problem. Just started noticing that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the back. Way in the back. Way in the back. So I want to make sure I'm able to, my camera can see far back there. I'm going to go to my view options. Yeah, I've got my endpoint set for a lot of, for quite a distance. So I should be okay. Okay. So if I get in close, and let's bring one of those pillars forward, actually. Somewhere up here. Kind of play around with this atmospheric depth. Okay. All right, let's set up your camera. Hit the 0 key on the keyboard. Actually, I don't want to do that. Hit 0 again. I'm going to hit Control, Alt, or Option 0. That sets up the camera exactly where you're viewing through your perspective. And then I can work from here. But that also means hit the M key for numerics. Go over to your view option and camera to view. Lock camera to view so I can see through my camera and navigate through my camera. M key. Make it go away, kind of start playing around. Now you're seeing everything in the background is disappearing because my camera has to be set similar to what my perspective was set in terms of what I'm going to be able to see in my 3D view, how far back I can see in my 3D view. Turn on the cameras here, go to the camera, select it, come down to the camera properties. Go to the top, and it should be right there. Clip start and clip end for the camera. It's only 100 meters. That's nothing. So if I come here and put in like 6 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a whole bunch like that, and then boom, there. Now we can see everything all the way to the background. Little Blender tricks. So let me come around here, grab that little piece, move it on out here. So we get some spatial, move that over here, something like that. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to material view. We're going to start giving these things surfaces. We're going to bring in our atmospheric effect. In fact, in order to see the atmospheric effect, I think I need to be in render mode. So if I go to render mode now, that's exactly what I would expect to see. It's pretty much no lights in there. So let's bring in some type. Oh, I don't know. Do I want to do that now? I could bring back a lighting effect, the sky lighting, a sky effect. Yeah, why don't I do that? All right, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna bring in another panel from the bottom left hand corner. Get the little crosshairs, left click and drag it, and I just opened up another panel. Over in the top left hand corner of that panel, let's go and get. We want our. Let's see. Do I want? Yeah, I do. I want the shader node. There we go, and I want world view. Here is my world icons here. Hit the N key to make that go out of the way on the right hand side. And what I want is for the color, for the background, I want the sky texture. So Shift A, go to the search, and there it is right there. As I was playing around with it earlier, it remembered me and came up with sky texture right there. Drop it in and plug it on in like that, and boom, we're lighting our scene. Okay, we got shadows and all that coming forward from the background. It's really bright, but we get to play around. Let's take a look at the sky texture. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Do this here. Okay, I need to readjust my camera location or the viewing location. N key, go to view. View. Am I in view? Yeah. Where's my? There it is. I gotta open it up. Uncheck camera to view. And now I can just move this around like that. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, got sun size, sun elevation, rotation, air dust. I don't want a real bright scene. I want something probably closer to the sun being low in the sky. So elevation. I'm gonna pull this down and see what I'm getting. See the sun's coming down lower in the sky. So your shadows get longer and they come out at us like this. Like, see? Now the sun's going down behind the horizon until it disappears and it becomes night. And you start to see stars in the background back there. It actually gives you stars. But I'm going to bring it up like that. I want it something like that. Light intensity is 1.0. I don't know. Let's bring it down just a little bit. See what we get. Holding the shift key, pull to the left. Oh, we're not getting much of an effect. I want to keep that at 1 for now, just to be safe. Altitude. Let's see now, it's dust and air and ozone. Now these have an effect. There we go. More ozone, a little bluer the light. Okay, we got the dust is 1.0. If I go higher, you see the effect, less dust, cleaner air. I'm gonna keep that at 1.0 too. All right, let's see. If I go to just scene view and kind of take a look at what's happening here. I'll pull this on down. We've got the sky. So literally a sky. But the sun really low on the horizon. And I'll play around with lighting in a different way in just a little bit. But anyways, we need to bring in our atmosphere, the fog, the haze. We haven't done so yet. So I'm going to select, go here and get my plane because it's giving me a hard time in selecting. Shift S, cursor to, I want it to start right about there. You know what would be better is like if I do this. Let's select this one and the background mountains at the same time. Let me go to my camera view real fast. I've got the mountains back here. I need more mountain ranges. So I'm going to select that landscape, bring it to here. Let's go to my scale, pull it up like this, make it bigger, scale it like that. Get it on down, below the horizon, something like this. Go back to scene view. I think I'll pull this to here. And let's go back to camera view. And we'll just pull it down like this. Let's go back to scene. And let's duplicate this one. So Shift D, pull it to here, and push it way back here. Let's change it up. Okay, so that's way back there. S, scale it, push it down, over. Let's rotate it, give it a different view. Something like that. Okay. So we don't really have we have no light in here yet. We just have a sky, which is obviously emitting its light, ambient light all around it, but we have no main light in here yet. Let's play around with this. Okay, let's setting it up. I'm gonna show you some other techniques too, because we can start making it look environmental even better. The mountains, I guess what we should do is kind of texture them as well. Let's go to the Z key. Let's go to material view, see what we've got. There we go. Mountains don't have any texture on them. So let's go texture these things. Let's do the one in the foreground first. There we go. Hit the period key, getting close. This should already be UV mapped. I would think. If I'm not sure, I'm going to my UV editor. Okay. There's my mapping. Here's my UV coordinate grid. And to see the coordinates, I've got to get inside of, let me make sure I've got this correct. That's selected. Yeah. There it is. And I'm not seeing a UV map. All right. There it is. So no UV map has been applied here. I was wrong. We don't need it. We don't need a UV map. I just that we're gonna do it a different way, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna use just the actual, form, the shape, the location of the shapes as for mapping my texture. So how about this? Let's go over to. Let's bring that web page on over. Let's go to Polyhaven. Oops. Poly, is that Poly? Got the O. P-O-Y. There it is. And let's go over to assets and go to textures. We got some terrain right there, and we got rocky terrain. Let's use that. That works. Use this one on one. We'll use this other one down here on another. So we'll go grab that for the foreground one. 4K, download it. That's all my PBR textures. Go to my environments, go to the images. Oh, no, I've got a bunch in here already. Coast sands, coast rocks. Oh, I do. I got a bunch in here already. Lessons, presentation, environments. Oh, I don't have to download it after all. Okay, let's just go use what I've got. All right, let's go to the bottom and here. Add an extra one here. That's going to be my shader. Okay. Let's get rid of that little window thing there. Let's go get it. So object is here. So I've got to give it a texture. We'll call this one, hit new. We'll call it mountain foreground. Okay. And we might as well go get the other mountain too. It's back there somewhere. Is that disappearing? Yeah, there it is. It's disappearing because I got to go over to the view menu and tell it to go beyond the 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and boom, there it is. N key, get the panel out of the way. There it is. Go grab it. All right, it's giving me a problem. So go grab that one. New mountain background. Okay. Okay, that's done. So let's go back to the mountain foreground. So that's the landscape. So I'm gonna rename these the same way. So I'm gonna call this a mountain background. And the other landscape, mountain foreground. Make it the same name as the textures. Okay, mountain foreground, mountain background, right next to one another, alphabetical order. Okay, let's go here. All right, so let's go get our PBR textures. Select it, the shader. Everybody should know this already. Command-Shift-T, the shortcut for adding all my several textures on there. Lessons folder, presentations, and then environments, right? Is that where I put it? There they are. Images and coastal rocks. So got a folder for coastal rocks and then rock face. All right, let's see what we've got in here. There they are. Okay, cool. So I've got the color image. I've got the displacement, the normal mapping, and this should be the roughness. I'm going to grab all those. I can use all of those. Select it, automatically connects it right there. This view over here is not in material view. There it is. And you're going to see that it doesn't look like anything. Right? So mountain foreground right there. It doesn't look like anything. That's because what we need to do is come back over here, because by default for the mapping coordinates here, remember these oranges are images. That green thing there is the shader. This is the viewer back here. So if we go to the coordinate, we're telling it to do what? We're telling it to use UVs. Let's not use UVs. Let's try generate it. I think it's going to be object, but let's try generate it. Let's disconnect it. Generate it and see. There we go. Generate it works. Because we generated this from the mountain generator, right? But it's always good to play around. Let's see what object does. So I'm going to go disconnect that and go to object. That works well too. That works just as well. I'll stick with generated. There we go. Okay, that one's done. Now we're going to go do the one in the back. Mountain background. Select the shader. Control Shift T. And let's go to the rock face ones. Let's grab all those. Principled. And there it is. All done. That's how fast Blender is. So all we need to do now is get it out of UV because it's default. Disconnect it from UV option and do generate it. There. It's a different look. That's okay. It's a different mountain. All done. All right. Let's see. Let's go and do one last thing. Pull back on this. I don't want that one. I want this here. I want the plane. Let's do something to the plane here. Just so we have something there to look at. And what we'll do is we'll just use one of the ones I've already applied. In fact, what I can do is come over here, look for one I've already done. I like the foreground mountain better. So I'm going to just select it and it automatically applies it. Okay. Pillars, I guess we'll go new. I'll make this one red. New, make this one blue. And then we'll go new, make that one green. Okay. Just something to Command Shift S. We're going to save. And I want this presentations not in Comic-Con, but inside of environment. There it is, environments. All right. So I'm going to call this one Twitch presentation. All right. So it's now time for that 15-minute break. So I am going to bring up the breaking, the 15-minute timer. And bathroom break, snack break, get up, stretch your legs. And we're on it. All right, we'll come back in 15 minutes. What I'll do is I'll mute my mic temporarily. It is that time. Cool. All right. Let's see what we got here. Cool. We are back. Ace Hoffman talking about he switched his pad so he can make pizza. Hope that pizza's good. Yeah, I've got to get my weight down and I'll start eating pizza again. All right, we are back. Where did we leave off at? Okay, so we left off at just texturing all the different objects. I forgot to texture the square there, but the cube. Give it a new, and just give that a different color too. We'll make that like a cyanish color, so to speak. All right, and I'm hit Command S to save. All right, so let's go get things set up in here. I don't think I need any of this stuff over here anymore, so I'm going to jump on over into the modeling tab. Okay. Pull everything back. Select that plane. Getting close to the plane. Let's start setting up our scene. Command Alt or Option. Well, not Command, but Control Alt or Option 0 on the numeric side of the keyboard. We're going to set up our camera. I'm going to set my camera to be more telephoto. So I'm going to set the camera here. Come on down to the camera properties. It's a 50 millimeter. I'm going to go to like 100 millimeters. And I'm going to need to navigate to the camera view temporarily here. So camera to view. Hit the N key. And I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Something like this. All right, now I'm going to push those mountains back a bit. And I'm going to go into the scene view. I'm trying to select the mountain foreground. There we go. And the mountain background. So I want to see exactly what's happening through my camera as well. Okay, so I'm gonna split this screen off right over here and go to camera view there. Let me take this out of camera view as well, so I can just recompose this like so. Okay, that works. Okay, I've got my two background objects. Just move it on back like this. Yeah. That works. In fact, that one in the rear, the background one, I think I'm gonna push it down a little bit. Maybe, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to duplicate this again. And I'm going to bring it way back here. And let's rotate it a bit to kind of give it a different look. And maybe go to the scale and scale only on the Z-axis. Give it a continued different look. And I'm going to make sure my global coordinate is selected. That's good. So I want to kind of push it further back here like so. And I'm kind of keeping my eye on my camera view here. All right, let's go to this view. Let's actually start setting up some lights. I think I'm going to want to do my haze first. I'm going to hit Control S, Control or Command S. And if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and ask in the chat box. I'll see it. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this looks good. So I want to go ahead and start setting up the atmospheric haze. So let's grab all of these from the mountain, the plane, all the way to the cube, and just set a center point for all of this. So Shift S, 3D cursor is going to go directly to the center of it all. Shift A, mesh cube, and I'm going to make that cube really big, right? See, we'll make it a really big. As we can see, it's covering up everything, which is what we wanted to do. Of course, we can do this faster if we just let me hit Command A, rotation and scale, tab key, edit mode, face editing. Thank you. Am I in X-ray? What's going on here? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's push this on back like this. Go to the side, push it right about there. Oh, you know what's happening? Got to be in solid mode. There we go. Now we can see what we're doing. Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, this is probably a little too far off to the side, so something like this should work. Let me go select my camera. All right, looking for the camera that is going to be right in here somewhere. Let me get out of here, go to Object View, select the camera. And where are you? There it is, right there. Okay, I want to make sure that camera is inside the fog as well. So grab the fog. Now that's a cube there. I'm going to rename this one. That's the fog there. Rename that one fog. Okay. Go to edit mode, get that front face, and just pull it out a little bit more because the camera's definitely inside there. Go back to object mode. Okay, that should work. We can see over here in camera. I think this is camera view to the left. There we go. That's it there. Okay, so we're inside camera view. We have to give this a texture. All right, so we go to the fog. There's no texture there. We're going to call this fog. I just gave it a texture. And what I need to do next is make it a volume. We want to turn it into fog. Currently, let me go to my object view here. There's my principal right there. It's that's our fog. I'm going to disconnect this. I want to basically delete it. Select it, hit delete. Everything goes dark, right? As I would expect it to. Let me actually go over here to render mode. Yep, everything goes dark. What I need to do, if I pull it back, see what's happening? So there is my object. It's black. It has no shader associated with it. We deleted it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a new shader here. So this new shader, it's going to be a volume shader. the volume shaders are special. They're special shaders that turn solid objects into fog or smoke, stuff like that. And Shift A, I'm gonna search, and what I want is one called volume scatter. Now, there's a couple of volumes in here, so I'm gonna set that there for time being. Shift A, go to search, and if I type in VOL, you have what's called volume scatter, which we just selected. Principal volume. Principal volume does the same thing, but it's got a whole bunch of other additional options built into it that I find is difficult to manipulate something to look like fog. What most Blender artists are using is the volume scatter, which instantly gives you a fog effect. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay. I accidentally grabbed this sky texture. I'm going to delete it. Shift A, search, and volume scatter there. That becomes the new shader, right? This is going to replace our shader. Connect that into not the surface, but into the volume, because this is a special shader that makes fog. Therefore, you have to plug it into the fog node or connector, which is called volume, and select it, and there it is. You saw it go slightly transparent here, right? Something's happening. In fact, let's go to material view. Let's see what we're seeing. Nothing. It's working. I already know that. Let me go back to render view, and let's actually bring in a light source. Okay. Let's bring in something that's going to help us to see what's going on in here. So bring in a light source, and I'm going to bring in a point light right there. It's going to sit right there. You're not going to be able to see much because the light's kind of dim. It's at a power of 2, but the fog is really dense, right? So if I go to that volume, I'm going to take this down to a density of 0.1. Let's see what happens. All right, it needs to come down more. Part of me is saying, let's turn off that background just temporarily. So instead of object, let me go back to the world view, just so I can see what's going on. Let's disconnect the sky shader just temporarily. There. Okay, now we can see. Let me see if we can see. I'm gonna get in closer. Okay, we are in render view. And I want to check one little thing out here. Go to material view. Okay, doesn't like it. We're going to go back to render view. I'm going to get out of the world node for now. And I'm just playing around with this for teaching purposes. But if I come over here to send this back to 1, let me want to see what you guys can see here. All right, it's going to be giving me a little bit of difficulty, but it's working. Let's take it down to 0.05. And let's make sure that I'm inside of cycles, which I am, GPU compute, and that looks good. But the problem is that this is not looking like I'm in render view, which is starting to bug the heck out of me. So let me go over to layout real quick. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes I find if I switch viewers, Let's go back to the cube, pull it out. There we go. Okay, let me go to tab, render. There we go. Okay, so that's not the fog, that's the cube. Let's go to the fog, select it. Let's hit the period key. Let me take this to solid view. Now, why is it not allowing me to zoom into the fog? Let's see. Very interesting. Mountain foreground. Good. That's fine. Okay. That's what it is. In this mode, it's got that short 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. It switched on me. Okay. Now we can see what's going on. Now we can go to render mode. And let's bring in. I'm going to bring in. Well, let's see. Let's go to our light source here real quick. There's light. Now this thing is only 10 power. Let's go to 1,000. Actually, no, 5,000. Let's see if we're getting something happening here. That's a point light. Let's turn it to a sunlight. That should happen. That should be lighting up. Very interesting. All right, Blender, what are you doing? What's happening here? I'm going to just double check my shaders. Okay. We go to the world view. Oh, did I disconnect? Okay, that's the world view. I did disconnect. So if I connect this there. Now let's see. I'm going to figure this out. And let me connect to the object real quick. So the object, there's the volume. If I change the color of the volume, let's see what happens. I'm probably not going to see anything. Let me bring in a light source outside. So there's my point light, which are altered to. I'm going to bring this up and out. All right, so there's the angle of the light source here. Running into little problems. What is it doing here? So it's not showing me my fog. Why? That's very interesting. Volume scatter. We got I've played. Let's see, I played around. The first one is the. Yeah, this is all correct. All right, let's see what's happening here. So I can simplify this. I'll tell you what, let me do it this way. Let me show you guys this way. So this is just really odd. Let me try it like this. I'm going to new general. Okay. All right, let's bring in a plane real fast. If all else fails, I'm going to try with the new file and see what it does. And then I'm going to bring in the fog here. Okay. I'm going to go to render mode here. Okay. I'm going to give this a material. We're going to call it fog. Go to my node setup here. Shader. Let's delete this. And let's go to our volume scatter. Plug it into volume. There it is. See? There it is. Maybe it is doing it in the other scene. It's just that the volume is so large that I really have to go extreme in my numbers. I want to change the color of the volume to reflect more of the sky scene. See, I can change the colors in here. So we know it works. We know it works. And I'll show you some other little tips here as well. Let me bring in a light source. See if I have one already in here. Nope. Okay, I'm going to stay right in here. Shift A. Go to my light source. And go to the spotlight here. Okay, let's bring this on up. There we go. See? The reason you have a volumetric light is because of the volume scatter. That's the only reason. We can come over here and play with the, see, as we start to, but my objects aren't enlarged as large as they are in the other scene. So I probably just need to really increase the intensity of the light just drastically. And that's going to do it. We can change the color of the light source. Say the light source is going to be slightly warm like this. Now it gets real. It gets real interesting. I've got the light source selected. Object is selected. Use nodes for the light source. Okay. And this is a neat little trick. I want to show you guys are going to love this. Let me go find, I'll tell you what, I hit bridge up and open. Let me open up bridge again. So I can preview some of the images. Come on up, there it is. We can use an image to project through the light source. All right, so let me go find presentations, and I believe it should be under the Comic-Con 2025, which I put a bunch of images in there. There it is. And there. Okay, I've got a bunch of these images here. Now, this is going to get real fascinating. Let's just use something abstract, something like this. All right. And all I'm going to do is drag this into the node section for Blender like that. So there's my subject. And then I'm going to drag the color into the color like this. See? So if we tilt this down, see? We got the image being lit and projected. Oops, I'm realizing that I'm neglecting Ace Hoffman here. So it's vegan pizza, not like the New Haven pizza of my youth, but world's best pizza is from Pepe's in New Haven, huh? If you're ever there, Frank Pepe is often credited with inventing the delicacy we know as pizza, probably here in America. So I see David talking, but David, your mic is muted if you were trying to make a comment. So yeah. So okay, let's go back to the tutorial. All right, so we got a light source. Now this gets fascinating. And this is kind of what I wanted to show you with the other one. I'll bring back the other one just a little bit and see if I can just intensify everything. There's a light source. Let's go over here to our light properties. The light properties are very, very important because what we have here is these volumetric God lights. If you want God lights in your scene, it has to be absolutely sharp edges. Okay, let me increase the power a little bit, like that. That's increasing the intensity. And you can see the God lights come through, see? All right. So you want to make underwater scenes, like the water, the light coming through the top of the water, and you're under the water and you see the reflections of light on the water. Well, hell, that's easy. So what you do, I'm gonna go get bridge real quick. What you do is you go find some underwater pictures like that. All right. And we're gonna take that. So our nodes down here, and here, let's go over to here. I hate this when Windows does this, drives me nuts. Just stay where I want you to stay. Jeez. All right, this is really making me mad. Just go down and stay there. Thank you. Now, drop it into here. There's the other one. Disconnect that one, and you get to see what you're getting up here. Now, let's understand the light source before we connect that in. If you look at this, we got the radius, right? That softens up the edges. The radius softens up the edges. And you notice that as we soften up the edges, the God lights go away. The God lighting goes away. To get God lighting, you got to have hard edges. So take the radius down to 0. Now you got a God light in the form of a of this point. So spot size, right? You can kind of play with that a little bit. The blend, see, hard edge 0, a little more of a softer edge. It's kind of doing the same thing a little bit as the radius. Show the cone, right? If you want a representation of the cone. All right, so we're going to focus right in here. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in our underwater image, which is right here, and plug color in the color. And there it is. So if I go to the spot size, if we go to the radius, right? See, it softens everything up. I'm going to take it back down to a hard edge. Let's see, the blending. It softens the edge, but also leaves some of the texture in the middle. It leaves the texture in the middle untouched, but it softens the edges. And it's still, and it will still allow God lights to come through, as you can see. Neat little technique. Spot size, I'm gonna make it bigger like so. And what you can do is this cannot just be a single image. You can bring in an animation of water that you probably, created yourself or download it from a video storehouse and have a seamless loop of water, and then that will reflect down here. And if I go up here and take it from yellow and go to white, it will show more of the actual blue that's in there. Or if I want it more bluish, move it toward blue. So lighting things like this in your scene, instead of using just the raw light sources, put in an abstract image in here. Let's go get another one. Let's go back to bridge. And we got some of these here. This is kind of interesting. Let's see what these do here. Let me disconnect this one, move it out of the way. Let's drag that to here. And there we go. Isn't that neat? Okay. So you get some multicolored effects, get something very abstract. You can just go to Google and say, give me abstract color, and then bring it in here as your light source, and then come over here to the radius and just start to blend it, right? Blend it like this. Maybe use your blend itself, right? In addition, so you get something that's not visually recognizable, but you know you got something going on down here in terms of your lighting source. That fun? That's fun stuff. So I'm going to go to radius and bring it down hard. I might want to just show one more. When I'm using lights, I have a tendency to like using more of the abstract stuff. Here's one that's a little limited right there. I like stuff like this where it's not a whole lot of texture like these here. This one here is strategically placed whites throughout the blacks in the background. I think could work real nice. Put that there, disconnect this. Pull this on over and reconnect there. Okay, so there you go. That's kind of some real fun stuff in Blender. I think could be helpful for your creative results. All right, let's see what I've got here. Got the radius here. I've got the blending. Take the blending. There we go. Blending down to 0. Now you can really see the harsh God lights coming through there. All right. And that's only a result of that atmospheric haze. In other words, the volume scatter. So if I go to the scatter, let's go back down here in the bottom. It's 1.0. I usually start with the 0.1 so that you get a slight haze everywhere, but you can still see your God lights through it. Right? We can still see the God lights through it. Let's bring in the background, right? So let's go to object. Let's go over here to the world view. Get rid of that little panel on the side. And so I'm in the world view now. Click this here. There's my background. And let's bring the sky texture real quick, which is what I was showing earlier. And let's see what it does. Let's plug it in. See, this is what I was expecting to see. You can see the actual fog in here. It was working on the other one, but for some reason the OpenGL wasn't showing the effects as well as I thought they should. All right, what more can we do with this? Let's make this a little larger. Say S key for scale, make it a little bit larger like that. There we go. Now notice when you make it larger, it gets denser, really dense. Command A, rotation and scale. So that means for the, let me go back to my object view. That means for the density, for the volume, it's got to be a lot less. So instead of 0.1, I can go 0.05, but I think I'm going to need more. I'm going to go 0.005. There. And you can see that there. Let me go 0.05, see what it looks like. Let me take one of those zeros out of the way. And there you go. See, that's just as I thought. It really is very bright. Now you can break this fog up, right? Because sometimes you come in a situation where the fog isn't so consistent. Even when I rotate it around like so, I kind of like that effect where it looks like the fog is being broken up. It's not being broken up. It's just Blender's doing it so that you can work faster rotating things around. But when I release the rotation command, it falls in as one big shape. That background's kind of really bright. So let me pull that down a little bit. Let me go to here, go to my world view, and let's see, where is that coming from? Probably the sun intensity. That's interesting. So you can see the intensity having an effect on the fog. Interesting. I didn't realize that. But there's no effect in the background. I'm expecting the effect to happen in the background. I'm not seeing anything happening. I'm going to take the sun size down. So you can see it, affecting the volume. Let's try sun rotation, or better yet, altitude. Okay, I want elevation is what I want. Go down. That's it. So this is probably what's affecting the fog in the other one. It's the background. All right. So I tell you what. Let's just get an image, an HDRI image, just to light that background, which I do have. So let's pull this, delete this out. Command T. Go to open the image, and let's go over here to lessons folder, and let's go to my presentations, and I think it was under environment, images. Thought I saw that in here. AI choice images. Damn it, that's not what I wanted. Get rid of that. I'll go somewhere where I know where they are. So I've got them right over here, inside, right, 3D Projects, Blender, and then 0 HDR. There they are. Let's bring in HDR. Let's just use this one. There. There we go. I can see the fog. That's probably what I should have done from the very beginning. I think I would have had better luck. That that sky texture was interacting with the fog in such a way that it was preventing me from seeing the density of the fog. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the object view. And let's go to 0.5. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Feels a little denser. Let me see what 0.1 feels like. I mean, 1 feels like. There we go. There's my fog. So let's go down to what is that? 0.3. I put that in there. Let's go to 1. Okay, let's go to 0.8. Just playing around with this. There we go. About 0.6. 0.6, not 6. All right, I think that should be a good density. In fact, let me make it 0.7 so it's easier for you guys to see this next step. Okay, that's a little denser. Yeah, so if I want to break up that fog so it's not so, let's see, I want to get a noise texture. So Shift A, I want noise texture. Drop it in. And let's go color to color. No, I want color to density, I think. There. You can see it's being broken up a little bit. I may want to drag in a factor, but I want to stay with the color just for now. I'm going to also bring in a color ramp. So Shift A. Normally shows up right away, but in this case it doesn't. So color ramp there. Drop it in. That makes it black and white. If I click on the color ramp, now I shift control shift click on the color ramp allows me to see what's going on with this particular node only. That's alpha and that's color. That's what I want. I want the color. So if I come over here to the blacks, the black's going to represent all the places where it's transparent. And I'll increase it like this. See, I can now start controlling the look and feel of the fog. So the white is the fog, the black is the transparent areas within the fog. If I want the whites to be more intense, see? I'm going to keep it like this for now. Maybe push the blacks over a little bit more. Yeah, something like this. Which is kind of interesting. And then just disconnect this surface out of here. And there we go. There's your fog. You can see it. See it? So now you can start controlling the density of your fog. Now, what I like to do on the noise texture is I want the fog to move. 3D is the channel that it initially starts with. It's by default. Don't forget that you may need to change your fog to a color. right? So if I go over here to the volume scatter, right, I want it to be the color of the atmosphere, something like this, maybe. You see it better at other angles. If I want that fog to look like it's moving, then I'm going to want to come over here, get out of the 3D mode and go to 4D. That's your animation mode there. And when you click on the 4D, you have something up here called W. And if I click and drag and pull this around, you can see the fog animate, right? And if you wanted to animate forever, maybe I would go something like £, frame. And let's see what it looks like from there. If I go to just click it. Oh, what happened? Security reason automation. Disables permanently, allow exceptions, whatever. Okay, allow exceptions. Okay, so if I play it, nothing's happening. Fine. Let's do this again. Pound frame. What I normally do is go divide it by 24. There. Now, let's see what's happening. All right. Now this is starting to give me a problem. That should animate. Pound frame divided by 24 gives you frame. If I could take off the 24. Let's see, is anything moving? All right. Strange. If I do it manually, it doesn't. All right, I know this doesn't. I know this works, so let me do this. The factor, color the factor. It's going to bring in another the same node. Noise texture. Color the factor to there. There we go. All right, let's see if I can go over here to 4D. Let's kind of get in a little closer so we can see what's going to happen here. Go to the W. Okay. And £, frame. I'm going to put in divided by 24. There it is. That worked. So I just made it a habit that when something doesn't work and I know it's supposed to work, and I've done it 100 times, delete the node and do it again. Now, if that's too fast, right? Let me try the frame. See what it does. That's really fast. Okay. Let's do frame divided by just out of curiosity. Let's go to divided by 5, something like that. See what it does. It goes really fast. Okay. So we had 24 before, 48, 92. There we go. That's a little slower. So you just kind of play around with it and get the speed of the fog that you want. If you want the fog to animate, I mean, fog doesn't really move super fast. It moves very, very slow. So maybe we'll do something like 200. I'm just making up numbers. Maybe fog doesn't move that fast either. I mean, you don't have to move it. It's animating that fog based on the abstract shape here. If you want the fog to move in one direction, I want to right click. So that purple symbol it's not only telling you it's animated, but it's telling you it's put in there a driver. If I right click on it and delete driver, that clears it. Right. So if I want to animate only on a particular direction, all right, what did I just do? There we go. For example, let's see, we got the scale, distortion. We probably want to take it out of W. Let me go to 3D. 4D, 3D. Let's see what I've got here. Okay, scale, detail, roughness, like in there. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to start going to doing this. This is what we have to do. Let me go back to 4D. All right. Select that one, Control T, and we're going to have to now start animating these numbers here. So if I only wanted to move, let's say location, let me go. I wanted to move only along the y-axis, then I can select this one, pound frame. I almost misspelled it. Pound frame divided by, what do we do the last time? 200, something like that. If you play it, there you go. Okay. So the W is animating based on the location of the abstract shapes. This is animating in one direction. So Fog can move this fast, I suppose. I'll probably make it a little bit, slower. Maybe we'll go 300. Okay. Enter, and there we go. Let's see if I do this like that, you can see what it's doing. Moving everything along one. So, let's see. Ace says, I think I could use this to illustrate a vortex. That's right. Liquid for a vortex created in a liquid from a laser beam through viscous liquid, which I happen to need right now. Yep. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can also use this to illustrate warp speed. You're inside a warp tunnel. You go into light speed, and you got this. This is exactly what you would use. So yeah, so now if we come back, pull this out of the surface, let's bring in the light source. So where is my license? Still not, did I put one that's there? There's some spotlight right there. Okay, see, it's gigantic now. I'll have to make everything larger. So if I select here, it'll be easier if I just go select the cube and the plane only. See how big that spotlight is to it? Scale it, make it real big like that. Now that's going to change the nature of the fog, which I think was my initial problem in the previous exercise. So I'm in the modeling mode. I'm going to go get rid of that. Get rid of this down here. There we go. And we come over here to render mode there. Yeah, there you go. There's your, and that's strange. Okay, so go grab the cube. And if I come over here to the right-hand side, come over to my surface, go to the volumes, my materials here. Let's see. I should have. It's probably set up in my nose. Here's my density there. Yeah, it's using. See what's happening here? The factors, it's the 4D effects here. The volume scatter itself. In fact, let's bring back that shader real quick. Let me go. I just got rid of it. There we go. There's my object. Let's go select the cube. All right, so you can see here, the volume or the densities in the volume is being controlled by this color ramp and the noise texture, right? So the noise and the color ramp together, that's what we're seeing here. This is your color ramp here. And you can control through here, which is the same location. Look at the coordinate. Look at the nose, the black node, the white nose. The same location. It's just showing over here to the right. So if I pull this on over a little bit, get a little closer. If I go to the whites and bring them denser, it gets really dense, right? It gets really dense. Now you can make like Swiss cheese. Pull this on back and go late. That starts to add in a lot more. But sometimes you're going to want something in between, right? So we got black on one side, white on the other side. I'm going to add another one right in the middle here. And this is going to be subtle transition. So if I get closer to black, but don't make it so bright gray, click down here, make it a darker gray so I can control the fall off from black to somewhere in between. See? And it's still animating. See, this can get addictive. You can just stay in here. You can stay inside the house all day long, playing around with all the different ways and shapes. Now, again, we can come over here. We can change the texture now. So we got the scale of the texture. Pull it down a little bit. Look what we get, right? Pull it down the other way. So let's save this one, Control S, and Twitch presentation 2. And let's go bring back the other. Now that we know all this works, I'm curious if this is the whites, we bring it closer, it gets even stronger, edgier. But what we could do is, instead of this being pure white, change it to something less than pure white. So it goes a little more like this, a lot more transparent. Kind of fun, huh? So I'll save this one. Let's go Control S. Now, I should probably mention the beginning the introduction to Blender class has been full. Ever since Comic-Con, it's been completely full. I've started a new one, and let me bring over, because I was getting a lot of requests for the class. I'm going to go over here to my website, chromeillusion.com. So it's Control C. So I'm going to put in my website into the chat box for your convenience. Then I'm going to go over here to the Blender. So on my website, workshops, go to your Blender 3D, and there the Blender class is there. So the intro to Blender class is right there, September 14th. I'm going to go to that file or that link. That's it. I'm going to grab that address and put it into the chat box. So I'll put in intro to Blender. Yeah, the class is filled up fast. In fact, I'm a little bit over than what I normally allow. I'll normally only allow 8 people. I think this one coming up tomorrow, it's going to be about 9 or 10 people. I think it's about 10 people. I think you're in that one too, David. If you're talking, your mic is muted. Here, I'll unmute you. For some reason, your mic, you've got it muted on your end. There you go. Now it's unmuted, but I don't hear you. Still don't hear you. Oh, wait a minute. Add the stage. There we go. There we go. Now say something.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you now. Perfect.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Somehow you got knocked off.
During the lunch break, I tried to mute everything, and I got this thing going on in the background. So, I wasn't aware I was in the class.
That was the one you said you told me to put you into, the beginning one.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was going to start this weekend.
I sent you. You should have got the email yesterday.
That's why.
Okay, yeah. So check your emails.
I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of emails on Friday. So
okay.
I've been busy with it lately. One of the reasons why I got my 3D printer going is I've been printing out these parts.
Oh, cool. Do share. But let me finish this first. I'm gonna let you share that real quick.
Okay.
So there we go. So we got the so if when you sign up for the class, use this discount code. In fact, I've got 2 classes I want to show you, because the other one is the Blender Brilliance class, which is more the advanced Blender class. But discount code is SDPUG 2025. Okay, use that discount code. You get a discount on the class, so it's right there. That's the discount code. So jump in there. It's a 5-week class, all right? Because you're not going to learn this in one day. It's ridiculous. And then when that ends, it opens up to I think the next one is going to be the Blender Brilliance class, which is more advanced Blender class. Then we got the 3D printing, Blender 3D and 3D printing. And I've also have one texturing. It focuses on texturing. It's the Blender 3D and Substance Painter, which is a fun one too. Hopefully there's room in that one. That one is not quite half full yet. It's just about half full. It'll be full by the time September comes around. Okay, so because I've got a client today, I'm going to end 15 minutes earlier, but I want David to share what you're going to share with 3D printing. Did you want to share your screen, David?
Oh, I didn't have much to share because right now I got my thing going. I got my, I'll show you what I have.
I could remove. I'll remove my screen.
Let me go to, I have no slides. Your computer.
And share your entire screen. It'll sit in the very bottom.
Just share a file. That is what I want.
All right.
Okay, where did I go? Share screen.
Right.
Share screen. Ah, there it goes. And let's go to here.
There it is. I think it's coming up, and I'm adding it to screen now. There you are. Cool.
Yeah, this is what I'm putting right now. And this is, this is Bamboo Studio. I'm printing with a new filament today. It is called PLA Tough Plus.
Right.
And one of the things about this is that it has a much higher temperature tolerance,
right,
than normal PLA. PLA will start to melt around and deform around 120 some degrees or so. It won't be dynamic. It will be gradual. But if you put regular PLA in the if you put regular PLA in on your dash, for instance, and this is why a lot of people use ABS.
Right.
Is that it will literally wilt and melt.
Right.
And this is designed, and I'm building this vent. I'm actually doing this for my landlord. He's paying me to make this adapter. And I don't know if I can point the camera over here. You have to stare at my thing over here. This is my window.
Well, hold on a second, because I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta change. You gotta play director and or editor and change pictures for.
Well, you have more than one camera. Let me remove this one, and let's see here. Add to stage. Oh, that's kind of weird. Okay, what did I just do?
Well, you can see it from the small screen, can you?
Yes, I can.
Well, that's the that's the adapter that I'm trying to make. In fact, if I could, I don't know if I could set this on top of here.
Actually, I might be able to do. Let's try this. Let's try this one. No, that's not working. That one works. Yeah.
Let me bring this over.
So you've got your vent pointing outside.
Yeah. See, this is the vent. This is what I'm trying to make.
Got it.
There.
Oh, for the air conditioning.
Yeah. We get these little things here when we when people move in. This here is supposed to be a 5.1 inch vent.
Right.
It is not. It is actually it's like more like a 5.2 or 3 inch vent. Now I'll bring out my little vent here, and this is the one that I made before.
Right.
This is made using regular PLA.
So you designed it all in Blender?
Well, that's the catch. Let me bring my camera back. To get so physical. I have this little camera. I got a little printed stand, which I also printed on my bamboo on this bamboo printer. But when I make this stuff, I make it generally. I use Fusion 360, which is okay. It's free. It's fine. But what I'm looking at is possibly using Blender as a CAD program, making it more CAD dependent. And I think I could do that because you can size all the parts in Blender fairly, reasonably accurately, to inches, to millimeters, to meters, and I'm looking at and one of the let's see. Oh, that's right. My lamps is supporting my lamp. Back in. One of the things I could do one of the things that I like to do in Blender that right now I can only do in that I believe that I can do in Fusion 360 is I could take a picture of, say, this is the actual thing that I'm trying to replicate. I can measure this and then take a picture of it and then put it on the screen and tell Fusion, okay, you see this, from here to, say, here it's so many millimeters, and it will do that, and it will automatically calculate the scale of the original part and compose that inside of Fusion 360. I like to be able to do the same thing in Blender.
Blender does exactly the same thing. As long as everything is in proportion, all you need to know is one dimensions of one side, and everything else will fall right in line.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Well, if everything is if you designed everything in proportion to one another, like that piece, all you need to know is the dimension of one side, and then once you reduce that side, everything in proportion reduces it will fit your exact part.
But I want to be able to do it initially, so when I go and do describe this as a sketch. Well, in Fusion we use things called sketches, and what I want to do is potentially initialize the scale of this object initially as or before I'm building it.
Yeah, like you just set your dimension measurements in Blender, and it will follow right on through. For example, if you're working in inches, just tell Blender to work in inches, and then just model
or in millimeters.
Or in millimeters. Yeah.
Yeah, because your average printout, your average printout in your 3D printer is usually in millimeters,
right?
To begin with. So, but that way, when you build this, because this is a very tight precision instrument right here, object right here. Everything here was designed to fit inside of the back of my AC, my standing AC air conditioner.
Right.
So that's the reason why I built this.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. So thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, and I got one question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Linux.
Yes.
Do they have a current blender for Linux? Is
I
it
believe
at
they do.
4.5?
Yeah,
I've been trying.
I think Blender's always been designed for Linux.
Yeah, it
Uh,
has.
is so I know that they're also working on designing it for mobile pads, iPads, and Android pads, stuff
iPads.
like that.
Hmm.
So that's coming out. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting considering how hard it is to actually develop in Mac, let alone
Well,
iPad.
what I've seen on the pads is the interface looks exactly like the desktop, no different.
Hmm.
They just ported the desktop over into the mobile, but we'll talk more about that later. I've got to get out of
That's
here.
all I got to add.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, we normally go to 1, but I got to end 15 minutes early, so I've got a client today, so I've got to step out of the house and drive 40 minutes north of me and do private instruction. So yeah, thank you so much. That was great. So I hope everybody thought this was helpful today. We'll talk more about this stuff later, but there's a lot of changes happening. I wanted to do AI today. I did only a little bit. I didn't do as much as I wanted to do, but we can always get into that next time. All
Yeah.
right. So let's see. Ace Hoffman says, "Hey David, nice work. Do the threads get slightly tighter as you go deeper, and how does it lock in?"
Well, I tell you, the one odd traits about normal PLA I found is that it shrinks uniformly. And so if I make the thing slightly larger and just normally screw it in, it will tighten up. Let's see, where's my little fixture? I just had it here. Well, anyway, it will actually shrink as it heats up, because I use the heat from the exhaust. It will shrink not only onto my collar here, this vent collar, but also onto the hose. And so if this is slightly loose, it will tighten up. And the particular hose that you use for air conditioner, it's very stiff. And this is an external diameter. This fits around the external diameter of the of the um, of the hose. And what I need to find out that, and I'll use this for an example because the others, 3D printing right now. If you crimp, this here kind of crimps up, and it will, and it will tighten up on its own. This is designed to do something similar, and because it actually tightens up on the wires inside the hose. The hose has these wires over here. Here's an example of the wire right here. This is what it tightens up on. And so, when it gets in there, it slowly but surely crimples up, like I'm trying to demonstrate here. And this gets caught up inside of here,
Right.
and locks it in place.
Cool.
And does it very effectively.
And we'll definitely have you do a greater detail on that. We come back next week, but
okay.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I got to get out here to see a client today, so thank you again. That's fantastic, and thank you everybody for attending. And don't forget that this goes up on our YouTube channel as well. Let me go find that. I'll get the link to that channel. Actually, bring it on over. Let's bring over to YouTube. Stop it. Okay, cool. So that is, let me go to my YouTube channel so I can give you guys the link real quick. Boy, it's acting kind of weird today. All right, I tell you what, we'll use Chrome. Chrome's a little more cooperative today. Let's go over to YouTube.
Changes they made. I found out that SteamYard has some very cool functionality. For instance, the background that you saw earlier, it actually came from SteamYard. And I will demonstrate. That's actually done in SteamYard.
Okay.
That's something to, I don't know if you played with that or not, but.
All right. So here is our channel where all of our videos are being placed. And I'm going to put that in the chat box here. You guys can just copy and paste that link and bookmark it. So that's the official Blender 3D user group YouTube section. Blender 3D users. I even put on the interview of me right here. So check out the interview.
Watch that.
Watch that. Do the environments in Blender. That's the Comic-Con. This is the Comic-Con presentation here. As I mentioned, my interview. Then, of course, other presentations and interviews, and then we've got. I think this is the Blender discussions. Then Blender discussions all the way down. Okay, cool. All right, so thank you again. I've got to get out of here. We'll be back.
Miss your lesson.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll get back next Saturday. All right, and check your email, David, for the Blender class.
Okay.
It's tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. See you guys. And